Listen, don't doubt that a witch hears everything. Anything and everything. I can hear it. From the from the dips of the bottom of the ocean, from the top of the sky, I can hear everything everywhere. Hi. Welcome to Higurashi again. The reason why took so long, I had started stream, right? And then I decided I was hungry afterwards. So now I had to go get food, but I'm gonna eat the food during the beginning of stream and just say fuck it. I have to eat, I have to stream, I'm gonna do both at the same time. But, hi everybody, how's everybody? Hi Joju, hi Spec, hi Pred. I got leftover Chinese. Listen, Pred. Give me a minute. All the murder children do make me hungry. It's true. Before I hit load. Objection! Ow! There you go. Did I miss anything else? Alright. Load. What did Doggo do? I'm kind of curious. I wish I could have seen it. Thank you. Well, it's actually dinner for me, but that's okay. It's lunchtime for you. Aww. My cats do that too. Whenever there's a weird, odd noise, like all of a sudden, they're just like, the frick is that? The algorithm got confused. What do you mean? Oh, you got Twitter banned? Oof. Feels bad. Hey, there is never a wrong time to eat spaghetti, man. Leftover spaghetti is like one of my favorites, actually. Okay. Well, I suppose while I'm finishing up eating, and I have my Cheetos again, so you're probably gonna hear that later. Let's continue on and see where we are. I've actually forgotten. I've actually forgotten, and I'm still trying to figure out, like, how this connects to the first arc, or, like, what the time zone is.
俺はどこかでレナの話を疑ってたよ。本当にすまない。
いいよ、ケイチ君。そのおかげで待ち伏せをやり過ごせたんだしね。
あいつらは何者なんだ。そのお社様信仰を復活させようとする信者の集団の手先。
Yeah. You really gotta be careful with what you post. Everybody's a pawn. This is Hinamizawa. What do you mean? I still don't know who's pulling what or why. There's too many people doing too many things, man. There's too many men, too many people causing too many problems.
ダム戦争の最中に園崎家が裏でいろいろと暗躍したって話は俺も少しは聞いたことがあるな。
有名な話だよね。これは大石さんに聞いたんだけど、ダム戦争の最中に誘拐事件があったんだって。
There was. We played that one with Rika.
これも秘密の事件なんだけど、なんでも建設大臣の孫を誘拐してダム建設。
They didn't harm him though. Well, they did kidnap him.
大臣の孫を誘拐？おいおい、そんなの聞いたことないぞ。
Of course they wouldn't talk about it.
大臣が犯人との取引に応じる姿勢を見せたため、事件を公にしないことになったんだって。大石さんは当時その事件に関わったから知ってるんだ。
ああ。それで？
大石さんが言うには、孫の誘拐や大臣の脅迫などの手口は恐ろしいほどに高度だったんだって。
Can you guys hear them talking? I'm not sure the sound on this game because every game is a little different.
その事件は園崎家が命令を下したことだけは分かっているけど、結局未解決なんだって。
Okay, sounds good. Cool.
当時園崎家の当主である園崎お涼は武装闘争の方針を打ち出していて、配下である暴力団組織の中に特攻隊を組織したそうなの。ダム計画の撤回がどうしても望めないときは、建設省に突入して武力制圧しようなんて、そんな物騒な計画を本気で練っていたらしいの。
Everybody knows that the Sonozaki family had tried to stop the dam project even if it meant breaking the law. I'm not muted. What do you mean I'm muted? My mic is turned on. Well, it does that sometimes, like when I'm eating and stuff, because I'm going against the I'm like, sometimes my lips like cover the my hands and stuff cover the what is it called? Webcam. So it messes with the rigging thing. I can't help it, man. It's a freaking crab ragoon. How am I supposed to eat one? I can't help it. Okay, get good sleep. I am. Thank you very much. So I wasn't so surprised to hear that she had a dangerous plan like that. Actually, I wouldn't be surprised if it was Mion who came up with the idea. The plan just sounded like her.
結局その計画は計画のままで終わったんだけど、
Good luck with the stream.
それを実行す
Thanks.
るための特攻
I'll
隊
do
の
my
訓練
best.
というのは行われていて、相当高度なものだったらしいよ。
Wow. That's ridiculous. What? That's freaking crazy. Oh, those were the people. Okay. They seemed pretty stupid to me, but... Huh, apparently they were trained
嘘みたいな
overseas.
話だな。
That's freaking nuts.
みーちゃんがよくヘリの操縦から無線機まで何でもできるみたいなことを言うでしょ。あれは本当。みーちゃんも当時その訓練に参加してるらし
She
い。
went over to the US?
じゃああいつ本当に。
まあみーちゃんの話はともかく。
Huh. That's interesting to know. Okay. Sorry for all the gross noises. I'm gonna stretch just for a quick second. Alright. Let's put all that aside for now.
このひなみ沢には大臣の孫すらも誘拐できるだけの暗殺部隊が存在するってことだけは疑っちゃダメ。
I didn't take a close look at the four men in the white van today, but thinking about it, they did look professional in a way. They were pretending to just be taking a break, but I could tell they were tense the whole time.
それであいつらはレナの命を狙っているのか。
Most likely.
多分狙ってはいないと思う。殺すだけだったら私もう殺されてるよ。
じゃあ狙いはまさかあれか。高野さんのスクラップ帳。
圭一君が見た通り連中は相当警戒心が強いみたいで、隙を見つけない限りは強引な手段に訴えてこないみたいなの。だって強引な連中なら私の自宅の寝込みを襲えばいいんだから。
それをしないってことは結構慎重だってことになるな。
多分私がスクラップ帳を持っているという確信がないからだと思うの。
She did receive them in private, so...
彼らはミオさんを殺し、持っていたスクラップ帳を全て処分しようとした。
So she thinks they killed Mio.
ところが一番重要な
Interesting.
通札が抜けていた。それで自分が狙われているのを察して誰かに預けたんじゃないかと考えてるんだと思うの。
Oh. So they think that she gave them to Rena. I thought that was odd too. She was like, oh, just take these. And I was like, that's like your life's work. Why would you just give them to some random kid you just met? You know, I thought that was weird. So she knew her life was in danger, so she passed them on to Rena so they couldn't get them. Interesting.
その有力候補が私なんだと思う。
She wanted to pass them on to someone because she asked and answered a lot of questions about it. So she wanted to pass it on to someone that was invested enough to not let those go because she didn't want them getting their hands on them. Interesting.
でも確証がないから強引な手段に訴えられないんだろうね。
レナ、お前かなりヤバい橋を渡ってるんじゃないのか。
The most dangerous game.
そうだね。ちょっと怖いかな。 もそう簡単には消されないよ。私は大石さんと連携している。有事の際に備えて常に連絡を取り合っているしね。
So she's working with Oishi.
そうだ、大石さんはどう言ってるんだよ。
大石さんも園崎家が何らかの暗躍をしていないか監視してくれてるよ。
高野さんのスクラップ帳の話はしたのか。
話してない。
警察には話した方がいいだろう。それに警察ならきっと力になってくれるぞ。
圭一君、私は君にだって信じてもらえるか自信がなくて話せないでいるんだよ。大石さんに話したって絶対に信じてもらえるわけがない。
なあレナ、もう煙に巻くのはなしだ。話してくれ。一体何なんだ。何がスクラップ帳に書いてあるんだ。高野さんが消されるほどの何が書いてあるんだ。
簡単に言うと、このスクラップ帳に書いてあることが事実なら彼らの神が貶められることになるの。
神を貶める。
そう、お社様の神聖性が失われてしまう。だからお社様信仰を復活させようとする彼らは絶対に伏せたいと思っているの。
すまんレナ、もう少し分かりやすく言ってくれ。つまりどういうことなんだ。
つまりお社様は神様じゃないってことなの。
神様じゃない。
I had no idea what she read that made her so certain. But whatever it was, it'd be sacrilegious for people who believed so strongly in Oyashiro-sama.
お社様の教えっていくつもあるけど、その原点はたったの一つしかない。それは中から出るな、外から入るなというもの。この大原則を守るためにその他の教義を発展させたと言ってもいいくらい。隣人を愛せとか家内安全とか縁結びの神様なんてのは本当に後から取ってつけたもの。
I've never heard any of those as part of his creed. I've always just heard death and destruction. In other words, Oyashiro-sama existed solely to stop the villagers from going outside the village. Oyashiro-sama doesn't bless the villagers or protect them from disasters. The people believe that Oyashiro-sama does all that for them, but the truth is that the people abused his name for that purpose, generation after generation, and nothing more than that. Why did Oyashiro-sama descend in the first place? Because demons came out of Onigafuchi Swamp and attacked people.
実はこの時点で解釈が違ってたの。鬼が湧き出して襲ったんじゃない。湧き出したものにやられると人々を襲う鬼になるの。
Ah.
湧き出したもの。どういう意味だよレナ。
Whatever came out of the swamp possessed people. crawled into their blood, controlled them, and turned them into demons. Oh. Which is like why she saw the worms in her blood. Okay. I'm with you. I'm with you. People had no resistance against whatever it was that came out of the swamp. They became demons, attacked the other villagers, and turned them into demons as well. That's right. It was a weird infectious disease that broke out from the swamp. It made the infected people go out of control. The villagers saw this disaster and explained it like so. Evil demons came out from the bottom of the swamp, possessed people, and turned them into demons as well. This is the truth of the story of the demons that came out of the Onegafuchi swamp.
確かにそれだと伝説をうまく説明できるな。
So she thinks it's a disease. And it would make sense with like the end of Satoko's route, because they said a strange disease killed everyone in the village. So, the fact that they had all been infected and died except for like Keiichi, you know, makes sense.
じゃあお社
He
様って
wasn't
のは
a local
ひょっとして
until
異国から来
recently.
た医者？
そうだね。正確には正しくないけど、そう医者と呼べる存在。それが降臨して伝染病を治療したの。でもそれは治療ではなく対処療法でしかなかった。
All his treatment could do was reduce the symptoms of the infection. Villagers could have their symptoms suppressed, but there was no way to kill the parasites that had infested them. After a while, the village was divided into two groups. One group was made up of the people who were already infected, and the other consisted of the people who weren't. Without a cure for the disease, the uninfected looked down on the people who could only suppress their violent symptoms. Even talked about drowning them in the swamp. But they knew killing the infected people wouldn't solve the problem. Parasites came out of their water sources, including Onigafuchi Swamp. They couldn't fill them all in, for if they did that, they would lose their access to drinking water. They could have chosen to leave the village, but that was hard for them, for that was the location of their ancestors' graves. Under the power of Oyashiro-sama, infected people could live without showing symptoms. Or was it Nerd? Or was it? Or was it the result of an infection that went haywire? You can't fool me. You can't fool me. Both of those were infected, and those who weren't decided to live together equally and to coexist with the parasite. Oyashiro-sama was impressed by the villagers' decision. He decided to stay there and continue to treat them.
それがお社様がこの地にとどまり人と鬼の生活を見守ったの真相か。
But what kind of parasite acts like that is what I don't understand. I've never heard of anything like that.
そしてお社様は感染者である村人たちに症状を出さないために掟を作った。その最大にして唯一のものが村から出てはいけない、外から人を入れてはいけないだったの。
外から人を入れてはいけないってのはわかるぜ。感染者を増やさないためだろう。でも出てはいけないってのはどういう意味なんだ？
It was to stop the spreading of people outside the village.
寄生虫たちは気候や風土の関係でこのひなみ沢の地
Oh,
でし
because of the
か生きられ
climate?
ないらしいの。だから宿主である感染者がこの地を離れようとすると強い症状を出してそれを妨害するの。その妨害こそがいわゆるお社様のたたりの正体。
The strongest symptoms of the infectious disease were violence and delirium. The infected people acted just like demons, and the impact of seeing them in the throes of the disease was strong enough to make others describe them as such. They couldn't even let people leave who had just come to the village. If they had left after being infected, they might go crazy in a faraway land, turn into a vicious demon, and cause a disaster. Infected people were never allowed to leave. When an infected person left the village, they brought him back by any means necessary. That was what it really meant to be demoned away.
ちょっと待てよレナ。
But they do let people in, though, but I guess not for long periods of time. Because the photographer and Mio, they let in, and then they let in, Oishi and the police force, you know, every once in a while, so...
だとしたら俺やレナも村人はみんなその病気に感染してることになるよな。でも俺たちはひなみ沢を離れたって別に何の問題もないぞ。実際村人にも結婚したりして遠方に住んでる人も少なくないらしいじゃないか。ひなみ沢をちょっと離れたからって錯乱して鬼と化したなんて聞いたことないぞ。
そう、それはまさにお社様の目論見通りにことが進んだからなんだよ。意味がわかるかな。この村を長い間封印してきたのは寄生虫の害を弱めるためなの。
Okay, that makes sense. Hosts are very important for parasites. If something happens to the host, the parasites that live in the host have to share the same fate. In other words, if the host went crazy and attacked people, the host would be captured and killed, which means that the parasites would die with the host too.
そうか。自然淘汰か。
They adapt. There was a lot of talk about that in RE4 if you like saw my stream or watched my playthrough of that with like the parasites and how they evolved to grow into stronger like creatures over time in order to survive, basically. So they would find stronger hosts and go up the food chain as they went.
さすが圭一君。そう。この地で長く生活を重ね、厳しい戒律で生活を続けた結果、寄生虫に対し過敏な人間は錯乱して結局殺された。また感染者を錯乱させてしまうような強すぎる寄生虫はこれもまた錯乱した宿主と共に殺された。
Wait. Hang on. So what if is that chemical that... Hang. Hold on. What if that chemical that... What's-her-face used? Why can't I... Rika used... Which she got infected with... was just a huge dose of the parasite and caused her to go crazy. That's not so hard to believe, actually. And it also could have been the reason why Tomitake clawed at his own throat and died, because he could have also been infected with a strong dose of the parasite. Right? I'm not crazy to think that's actually a possibility.
互いに相性がいい種だけが残っていった。これこそがお社様の伝説が伝える鬼と人の血は混じり合ったことの真相。
じゃあつまりその寄生虫はほとんど無害なわけなのか。
ミオさんのスクラップ帳によると、そういった無害な寄生虫に感染しているケースというのはかなり多いんだって。食文化にもよるけど、例えば生肉を食べる国では国民の8割くらいが感染している例もあるんだって。でも矯正できてて人体に全く無害だから誰も治療しない、気づかない。だから撲滅もされない。
That's true. Because they don't know to treat them. Because they don't know they're there. Because they're not showing any symptoms.
なるほどな。
太古の綿流しはね、実は腹綿流しと書く物騒なものでね、錯乱した犠牲者の臓腑を食らうものだったの。でもこれも必要なことだった。
感染して犠牲になった人を食らう。まさかワクチンとか？
ケイチ君はやっぱり頭がいいね。ミオさんもそう読み解いて。伝説では犠牲者を一家に食らったなんて物騒なことになっているけど、実際はそんなヤバい
I
も
don't
の
want that imagery in my brain.
科学的に取り扱われていたらしいの。強すぎる寄生虫のせいで死んだ犠牲者からワクチンを作り出し、同時に村人の
Okay.
抵抗力も高めていった。
お社様ってのは何者なんだよ一体。医学先進国っていうとドイツか？正体はひょっとしてナンパして流れ着いた外国人医師？
多分ケイチ君の答えが一番一般的だと思う。ドイツ人ではないんだけど、とりあえず医者的な存在であったのは正解。
古代の伝説の秘密が明かされていくってのはなんだか面白いな。
I don't think that Reddit story is too crazy to be true anymore. Still sounds crazy, of course, but I've never heard any theories that explain the legend of this village better than this one.
多分俺も感染してるんだよな。なんだか体中が痒くなってくるぜ。
人間だって一つの宇宙だよ。体の中には無数の細菌たちが住んでいる。その中には私たちの生活には欠かせない有用な細菌たちも少なくないんだよ。
ああ、よくヨーグルトとかの CM で言ってるよな。確かにそうだ。
これもミオさんの受け売りだけど、例えばシロアリっているでしょ。木材を食い荒らしてしまうアリ。実はシロアリって木材を消化できないんだって。体内に寄生している特殊な細菌が食べた木材の繊維を分解してくれて、その結果シロアリは木材を吸収できるんだって。これも寄生虫と共生している一例だね。
I didn't know that. When I heard the word parasites, I feel creeped out almost instinctively, but now I know that some of them aren't so bad to us.
だから太古の昔に鬼ヶ淵村から突如発生した奇怪な伝染病は今ではほぼ根絶されたと言っていい。根絶じゃないね。無害になったと言うべきだね。
最初はとんでもない話だと思ってたけどさ、こうして種明かしがされるとなんだかサイエンスな感じがしてちょっと面白い話だよな。
私たちには面白いよ。でもお社様を神として崇める人たちにとってはこれはとても不愉快な説。
Of course. If Takano-san's theory is correct, Oyashiro-sama isn't a god. The punishment by that god, namely the curse of Oyashiro-sama, that people have been so afraid of, will turn out to have just been the symptoms of an infectious disease. I see. That's what dethroning God would mean.
だとすると、もしこの伝染病の病原体を特定して世間に発表されるようなことがあれば、信仰は破綻しちまうな。
And the powerful families, the three families don't want that because it means they would lose their power, basically.
そう。それこそが彼らの一番恐れることなの。そしてミオさんはその病原体を特定しようとしていたらしい。そのミオさんが消されたということは
特定できたってことが。
かもしれないね。ミオさんはもういないし、彼女のスクラップ帳にも特定できたとは書かれていない。
But it's possible that she did.
でも消されるに値する理由が他に思いつかないの。
でもよ、20世紀ももうすぐ終わろうっていう現代だぜ。村人だっていろんな医療機関で検査を受けてきたはずだ。なのにそういう怪しげな寄生虫が摘出されたって話はないんだろう。
確かに病原体そのものは未だ発見されていない。でも確かに何かの規制を受けていることの信号だけは確認されているんだって。
なんだって？本当かよ。
When a parasite enters a human body, the body's immune system cells, oh my god, eosinophils and macrophages try to kill the parasite. I passed with a D in anatomy, guys, so bear with me. They secrete an antibody called immunoglobulin. Immunoglobulin E. Okay. The most common way of checking it if a person is infected by a pathogen is to look at the levels of this secretion. According to Takano's research, people from Hinamizawa have a very high level of IgE in their blood. That's not all. They also have obvious symptoms of being infected by parasites. They don't have any allergies. IgE stimulates mast cells and they secrete histamines and serotonin as a result. These cause an allergic reaction. That allergic reaction isn't pleasant for humans, but it's necessary for the body to kill the pathogen. But the parasites don't want to be killed, of course, so they secrete substances that counteract IgE. As a result, IgE stops stimulating the receptors of the mast cells, which stops secreting the chemical compounds. As a result, the antigen-antibody reaction, namely the allergic reaction, doesn't occur. Interesting. In other words, a human body that was infected by a parasite secretes a high level of IgE, but doesn't display allergic reactions. For your information, a human body that's infected by a parasite doesn't suffer from hay fever. You get hay fever due to your body secreting a large amount of IgE because it's mistaken pollen for a parasitic invasion. As a result, a large amount of stimulants like histamine will be secreted, but your body can't contain the parasite that it's attempting to kill. That's why your body continues to secrete IgE. As a result, the stimulants keep causing allergic reactions. That's how hay fever works. If you have a parasite in your body, it'll deactivate your IgE and suppress the secretion of stimulants. As a result, you don't have an allergic reaction. In other words, there's no hay fever in Hinamizawa, and you can cure your hay fever by moving here. Interesting.
その存在だけは疑いようがないってわけだ。
うん、そうなるね。
だとすると、そのスクラップ帳は信心深い連中にとっては十分危険な存在だな。たとえ特定できなくても、存在を証明している時点で十分に危険だと思うぞ。
そうだね。
I think it's interesting at times, but I also don't like studying it at all.
たとえ証拠にはならなくても、彼らにとってはミオさんを葬るに値する危険性があったと思う。
I feel like oftentimes, how humans are built is just very, what is the word? Inconvenient. Like, the way we're built, I feel like we could have been built so much better and not have so much pain, but we decided to be different, and now we're struggling with back pain and depression and all these other things because we decided to be weird.
確かに恐ろしい秘密だな。ちゃんと説明してもらえば理解できることだが、いきなり聞いたら刺激が強すぎる話だぜ。
でしょ？だから私も最初は信じられなかったし、圭一君に話しても信じてもらえないと思った。
Oh, I don't know. I don't know who that is, so. Sure.
で、大事なのは、その事実を隠蔽しようと暗躍してるヤバい連中がいるって方なんだよな。
そう。今大事なのはそっちの方。
The fanatics who want to revive the sanctity of the god they worship. Reviving the majesty of their god means reviving the power of that god. And the power of their god is the infectious disease. This infectious disease can't spread nationwide, unlike other infectious diseases, so from now on I'm going to start calling it an endemic disease. That fits better since it only affects this region. True. That is the difference between a pandemic and an endemic. Because endemic's only for a small region, but pandemic is worldwide. Anyway, the endemic disease of current-day Hinamizawa is different from the one of old times. It's been through a process of natural selection, and it's harmless now. In other words, it doesn't do any harm to human bodies. That harm was once interpreted as a curse. A curse is the power of a god, so a harmless endemic disease means that the god is powerless. That means the only way to regain the majesty of that god is to revive the curse. In other words, they want to bring back the primitive endemic disease, namely that harmful strong version of the parasite.
ちょっと待てよ。
Hmm.
信者たちは神が実は寄生虫だったなんてことは否定したいんだろう。
Ams. 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 Thank you for the raid, Ams. I don't think I have any mods here, so I will do the shout out myself. How you doing, Ams? Hi, hi, experiment 13? 13. I know Roman numerals. Do it yourself, right? I do have a few mods, but, like, they're not always available, so... Yeah. Nice.
矛盾してないか。
矛盾しているよ。だからこの研究は信者たちのトップだけが知る秘密の研究なんだと思う。
So who are the fanatics? Like the three families?
彼ら
Or
は表向きは信仰を盛り上げている
like
けど、
everybody that
そ
believes
の裏で
in
は信仰の正体について
the curse?
極めて冷静に理解していて、神の技を自らの手で復活させようとしている。
なるほどな。おいおい、なんだかとんでもない話になってきたぞ。
Right, absolutely. You absolutely don't have a mod chained up in my face. We won't talk about that, you know.
ミオさんのスクラップ帳にはそうとは一言も書かれてないんだけど、私監督の診療所って怪しいと思うの。
The clinic. Thank you for following. So who is that guy? Coach. The coach guy. He's the one that... Does he own the clinic? EDA, right? Does he own the clinic, or is he just the main doctor there? I forget. I think he owns it. So that makes me suspicious of him now, because what if he's secretly developing like a very condensed like version of this disease to help spread the curse of Oyashiro-sama more? Irie Clinic, yeah.
どうして？
ひなみ沢の規模から見て施設が立派すぎるのがその理由。そしてミオさんはそこに
She
勤め
was
ていた。
working there. That's right.
監督は
She was a nurse.
園崎家にスカウトされてきた細菌学者が正体とか。
監督がか。
ミオさんは余計なことを知りすぎたから消されたんだと思
That
う
would
の。
be explain like how they knew she knew so much, because she worked there, so that she was right under their noses, and how she was able to get so much information.
なのに監督が消されない理由は、監督は信者たちに依頼されている立場だから。
That makes sense.
そして太古の有害な風土病を研究してるってのか。あの監督が。
ごめん。監督は無関係かもしれないね。今のは私の思いつき。でも研究は間違いなくどこかで誰かにさせている。そしてその研究には5年かかり、ついに完成を見た。
The first case was the dismemberment murder by the dam construction workers. The quarrel had turned into a lynching. They might have had the primitive infectious disease, and the symptoms, the aggression and delirium, might have kicked in. The victims in the second year were Satoko's parents. They were no witnesses, so the whole event is veiled in mystery, but there's a theory that someone might have pushed them over the cliff, since the fence of the observation deck they fell from was quite sturdy. What if one of them was affected by the primitive parasite? He or she might have become violent and pushed the other over the cliff. A Shinto priest died from a disease, and his wife drowned herself in the third year. He might have died of shock because of a hypersensitive reaction to the infection. His wife might have gone crazy and committed suicide when one of the symptoms, delirium, kicked in. In the fourth year, Satoshi Hojo's aunt was beaten to death, probably by Satoshi himself. Everybody who knew Satoshi-kun remembers how he changed at that time. He showed signs of being both aggressive and delirious, as Keiichi did in the first arc. Whenever he thought all his friends were literally aiming to murder him, like, he became the same way. In the fifth year, for the first time in 5 years, the victim experienced the maggot disease, described in the old scroll of the Furude Shrine. Reason behind that is unclear, but the stronger primitive parasite could have given its victims a delusion of maggots. This means that they finally managed to duplicate the curse of Oyashiro-sama after 5 years of research. Tomitake-san is the victim of the fifth year. He died in an extremely abnormal way, and I'm the only one who understands his death because I experienced the same thing. He kept clawing at his own throat to get rid of the maggots and died as a result. With all that explained, I finally understood the maggot disease I experienced in Ibaraki. Okay, so he was infected with the parasite. They found a way to, condense it and manage to bring it, somehow get it to him, I guess. Infect him with it in some form or another. I left Hinamizawa, and it made the parasite in me uncomfortable. As a result, it tried to resist, even though it wasn't very strong, and it tried to make me homesick. But with my parents' divorce, I grew mentally unbalanced, and I completely lost the power to resist for a period of time. The parasite was weak and harmless, but my mental instability allowed it to worsen my symptoms dramatically. As a result, I went crazy and became violent. The delusion of Oyashiro-sama appearing to me in the bathroom was probably the terminal phase of my delirium. I created the supernatural existence, Oyashiro-sama, that I was instilled with when I was little. I persuaded myself to go back to Hinamizawa based on that delusion. Some of the transcendents of Onigafuchi must have had the same kind of experience. They must have passed their experiences down as the acts of a god. I remember I once saw on TV that the indigenous people in South America used some kind of natural drug in order to have a mystical experience, and that they called it a ritual to communicate with their gods.
じゃあ信者どもの目的はその太古の寄生虫をHinamizawa中にばらまくことなのか?
Yeah, this game is very, very dark, so, yeah. There's lots of death and murder children, and basements, and experiments, and drugs, and parasites, and, yeah. Yeah, fuck this town. That's all I gotta say.
多分それが最終目的だと思う。でも人知れずにそれをやることはないと思うの。宗教にはセレモニーが必要だから。だからもし彼らが望むものを生み出せてそれをばらまく日が訪れたなら、彼らは多分それをお社様の復活の人でも称して宗教的なデモンストレーションをすると思うの。
But it's actually a cult, like.
何か特別な儀式とか、とにかくお社様の復活を祝い知らしめるような盛大な。
That's all this is a giant ass cult.
なあ、それってよ、悪いことなんだよな。
危険性の高い病原体をばらまこうというんだから、多分悪いことに分類されるだろうね。
それって最近テロって言わないか? おい、めちゃくちゃやばい。
Yeah, that would be bioterrorism, wouldn't it?
富武さんの死に方がお社様のたたりの再現に成功していた以上、X では間違ってことなんじゃないのか?
Which is something like, if you know the Resident Evil series very well, that's all the zombie like apocalypse thing is. It's a it's a virus that got spread and turned everyone into zombies and other versions of creatures. So that's all that is that's considered bioterrorism in that respect, is using, you know, viruses and biological chemicals to, you know, destroy or abrupt society in general.
わからない。もう秒読みなのか、まだまだ時間のかかることなのか。
もうこれはレナ一人が抱えていい問題じゃないぞ。かなり笑えない大陰謀だぞ。俺たちにはどうしようもない。警察に任すほうがないぞ。
私が話したこと、警察は信じてくれると思う。
They absolutely will not.
信じるかどうかは向こうが判断するだろう。とにかく話した方がいい。
圭一君、それを大石さんに私が打ち明けたら、私がスクラップ帳を持っていることを告白するのと同じなんじゃないかな。
That's true.
それってまずいのか？
No, I didn't take it that way at all. I don't, like, consider myself having a soft, soothing voice, but
大石さんの接触はミオさんが殺された後だ。
I guess, like, I tend to be a little more say-so unless, you know, I'm, like, shooting hordes of zombies or or I'm, like, cussing at something that makes me angry, Celeste, or, like, some other reason, but usually, like, I tend to be a lot more say-so than a lot of other VTubers, so I guess, like, a dark story like this is kind of, like, odd from me, but, you know, I like dark horror stories that have, like, really intense, you know, details and things you have to pick up on and stuff. And this one is one of those. You gotta be a little detective and see if you can't figure it all out. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I still don't know if I agree, but I still appreciate it.
敵はミオさんを殺した時点で
I'm not watching me, so
その数日前に私が図書館で出会っていることを知っている。
バカな。つまり
そう、大石さん自体が敵の手先である可能性がある。
Could he? I've talked about that before, like him maybe being the one behind things, or being one of the people behind things. I don't remember which arc I was talking about that too, but I have talked about it before being a possibility.
大石さんは私がスクラップ帳を持っている可能性があると当たりをつけていて、探りを入れてきているのかもしれない。実際彼はうさんくさくて腹を割らない。園崎家を疑わせるようなことを言って自分は味方だと言ってくるけど、彼だってその園崎家の手先かもしれない。
Interesting. Yeah, that's possible. Yeah, I think it's because, like, when you hear your voice, it comes out differently in your head. Like, you hear it different than when you actually, like, record it and listen to it. It's really weird. Like, I don't know why, because you'd think it would sound the same, but it sounds different in your head than it does, like, through your ears, you know? If that makes sense.
警察を疑い出したらおしまいだぞ。
圭一君、4年目の撲殺事件を知ってるよね。里子ちゃんのおばさんが殺された事件。
So they're saying they used all 4 of these, or all 5 of these years to, like, as examples to, like, test the virus, like, that they were cultivating, the parasite virus, the P virus. That's what I'm gonna call it, the P virus. They were trying to cultivate that, so they used these 5, like, murder incidents as, like, experiments, I guess?
あれは犯人はサトシ君以外に考えられないんだけど、その後犯人は麻薬中毒者だったということになった。
Don't judge me. Parasite virus.
これをどう思う？
警察内部に 盲信的な連中の手先が混じっていて犯人を捏造したってことか。
3年目の神主さんの病死の検視とか、2年目の北条夫妻の事故現場の見聞とか。
It's starting to click actually, because if Oishi's like the head of, or one of the heads of the police force, so if him and like most of the other people in the police force are actually a part of the conspiracy, a part of the cult, like everybody else in the three families is, then that would make more sense why none of this has come out at all, and why, like, the public knows nothing about any of this. Because of the fact that the police is covering it up, like, by making it out to be, and they all these incidences they've written off as just like, you know, these separate incidences that don't mean anything or are connected to each other at all, and they just think, well, you know, we can't discern, you know, the reason for the death, so we just write it off and forget about it. But so it seems kind of fishy, you know, that they can get away with that.
警察がもしも彼らの片棒を担いで
Many
いるなら
perfect crimes.
数々の完全犯罪が可能になる。
That's true. So basically the families can do whatever the frick they want because they have the police on their side, who could cover everything up from the legal standpoint.
hinamizawa御三家はダム戦争時から今日に至るまでもずっと警察への圧力を維持してるんだよ。それに沖宮の町のいろんなところに一族が進出して実権を握っているというのは、
and the
兄ちゃんが
Sonozaki
聞かされたことがあるんじゃない？
family like has the Yakuza and, you know, the Japanese mafia on their side, so they have a considerable amount of power over, like, you know, governments and general people of power, you know.
確かにそれはミオンの口からだけじゃない。いろんなやつの口から聞かされた。ミオンの園崎家がどれだけ市内全域に強力な影響
Is this
力を
whole
持っているか
chapter
って
just
いう
gonna
の
be
が
them talking on the phone?
そういうこと。
This is such a long conversation.
警察はこの土地では必ずしも信用できない。
Also same spec, same.
なあレナすまん。先にはっきりさせたいんだが、黒幕は園崎家なのか。
I definitely think they're a part of it, but I don't think they're the full masterminds.
ミオンも関係があるってのか。それだけは先に聞かせてくれ。
御三家であるみーちゃんやリカちゃんが直接関係しているかはわからない。ただ盲信的な勢力が御三家や一番の有力家である園崎家を自由に動かせる中枢部に根付いているのは間違いない。盲信的な勢力が根付いたのか、御三家の中枢が盲信的なのかは分かりかねるけどね。
I feel like the three families are the fanatics themselves, but I have no way to prove that.
関係あるかどうかわからない以上、用心に越したことはないってわけだな。
Not all of them, I don't think, but I think a lot of them are.
みーちゃんたちのことを疑うわけじゃないよ。普段のみーちゃんは頼もしいし、私も他の心配事なら打ち明けて助力を求めることもあると思う。
She's too close, yeah.
ただ今回のことはちょっと話の次元が違う。圭一君は見たことあるかな？みーちゃんは普段はふざけているけど、園崎家の次期当主として振る舞うときはものすごく冷酷で別人みたいに振る舞えるの。それにもし無関係だったとしても、それならばやはり耳に入れることで危険に巻き込むことにもなるんじゃないかな。
ミオンたちが味方になってくれればかなり頼もしいと。俺は打ち明ける価値があると思うんだが。
だからそれはダメ。敵ではないと確認が取れるまでそれは避けるべきだよ。味方にできれば確かに心強いけど、そうでなかった時はどうするつもり？
じゃあ俺とレナだけでどう戦うつもりなんだよ。
もともと最初から絶望的な戦いなんだよ。
I mean, you could always, like, sell it to a, like, singer or something. I can't write, like, music. I've thought about writing lyrics and stuff, but I just can't get into that headspace. Like, I can do poems when it's, like, you know, freeform or whatnot, but lyrics are different because I don't know how music and words go together. Like, it doesn't click in my brain. It's kind of like me doing art, like, you know, painting or whatnot. Like, it doesn't click with me like words do. If that makes sense, like writing stories and poems and whatnot.
だから圭一君を巻き込みたくなかった。
くそ、高野さんめ、とんでもない置き土産を残してくれたな。
でもそのおかげでとてつもない陰謀を知ることができたんだよ。これはミオさんの遺言なんだよ、きっと。
村を影から牛耳る何者かに、その村に住まうガキンチョ2人が挑むわけだ。こいつは最高にハードな話だぜ。一筋縄じゃいかねえぞ。
でも圭一君が味方でよかったよ。2人だから話し合えて相談できる。
当たり前だろ。俺は最初からずっとレナの味方で仲間だぞ。
うん、ありがとう。2人なら心強いよ。
一人で悩むよりは建設的になれるだろうしな。
I'm very confused still, though, how this connects to the first arc. Because he didn't trust any of them, like, at all. And he turned, like, freaking crazy and turned on them, and they turned on him, and that's how he died. So how does this, like, present the answer to that?
そうだね。2人でどう戦えばいいか、これからじっくり相談していこう。今日は私スクラップ帳を読み直す時間が欲しかったから休んだけど、明日からは普段通りに生活するね。おかしな行動をすれば気取られてしまうかもしれないからね。圭一君も変に構えないで普段通りに生活してね。みーちゃんとか時折鋭いことがあるから特に気をつけて。
わかった。何事もなかったかのように生活するよ。だが畜生、なんだか怖いぜ。とんでもない陰謀が間近に迫ってて、それがもうカウントダウンに入ってるかもしれないってんだぜ。それを知りつつ普段通りに生活しろってのも辛い話だよな。
多分そんなにすぐじゃないはずなの。さっきも言った通り、彼らが信心深ければ深いほど宗教的なセレモニーを必要とするはず。そういうセレモニーは村を挙げて行うものだもの。
You're a sleepy witch. Do I know you? Do I know you, girl? Another witch is in the club. Or in the woods, I guess I should say. Thank you for the raid. How are you? How was your stream? Let me do a shout out for you, my fellow witch. And I will follow you as well. Aw, you're cute. I like your colors. Alright. Hey, Note, what's going on?
渡流し以上のイベントは今のひなみ沢には存在しない。
ということは、少なくとも来年の渡流しまでは大丈夫ということか。
That's a long time, actually.
根拠のない読みだけどね。他に渡流し以上のイベントが思いつかない。
Alright. So we're playing Higurashi. I don't know if you've heard or seen the anime of any sort, but it is the visual novel original. Well, this is like the remake with the better like model art and voice acting and stuff. But it is the original version of the story of Higurashi is here in the visual novel format, which is what I'm playing. So it's going to be a lot of me reading and doing detective reasoning and thinking and going, what? A lot. But it's a very dark story about a religious cult kind of town and murder children and one of those stories where like it all seems okay at the beginning and then by the end everything is just so dark and twisted and you have no idea how it got that far. And you're trying to pick up the pieces of how everything happened and why everything is the way it is. It's freaking crazy, man. It really is. But I'm on chapter 6, or arc 6, as they like to say. Out of 8. So, yeah, it's a lot like Danganronpa in that respect, in the detective, like, dark themed, but it's set in a like rural / country town, like way deep in the mountains. So it's like isolated. Yeah, it takes place in a cult town, and everyone worships this god called Oyashiro-sama, which you hear about a lot. And apparently it's a huge conspiracy, and then the 3 families that like kind of basically run the town are kind of like cult leaders, to be honest, and supposedly they're trying to drug people with the parasites and restore faith in their gods. So yes, it's a cult town. At least in this arc they are. I don't know if they try to do anything like this in the other arcs, but I don't know. I think we have a year at least. Danganronpa is really good though, by the way. It's actually one of my favorite series. Unfortunately, I've played them all already, so I will not be streaming them, but I do plan to stream Ace Attorney, which is another detective thing. But I also feel like we don't, because of how they killed Mio-san. I might not know, but there might be a bigger religious event than Watanagashi. Might not be long until that day. On the day of Oyashiro-sama's revival, they're going to spread a dangerous parasite, and that day might be just around the corner.
Reina, まだ電話してるのか? そろそろ終わりにしなさい.
My father stuck his head out from the living room, telling me I need to hang up soon. I thought about telling him so many times. It's natural to think that your parents will be on your side no matter what. But I just know how weak he can get, so I couldn't tell him. It's in a sleepy backwater village based on a real place. Less murder and cults IRL, though. Yeah, absolutely, less cults. Less cults IRL, yeah. Yeah. I don't think he'd believe me anyway. Even if I told him, he'd just tell me to call the police. It's better that I don't tell him. They might get close to my father to get me. Yeah, it's pretty damn dark, yeah. If he didn't know anything about anything, including the scrapbooks, there'd be nothing to squeeze out of him to begin with. Also, if it's the same drug, it also caused Rika to stab herself in the neck 60 million times until she died. So, that's a thing I'm just gonna throw in there. In the last arc. That was very gruesome. That whole scene, I was like, I don't even want to go back to that. I couldn't even watch. I was like, it was a lot. It was a lot of times, yes.
用心してね。圭一君ももう部外者じゃないんだから。
It was a lot of times.
おう、せいぜい
I
気を
could
つけ
still
て。
hear the sound effects in my brain. Yeah, it's a lot of what the actual fuck is going on. I remembered the suspicious men in the white van and felt a chill run through my spine. They looked like villagers, but they weren't. They had the village accent, but they were just pretending. The more I thought about it, the more suspicious they became. Let me know that Reina and I aren't safe. If Reina's right, then they're just suspicious of her, and they're not sure if she has the scrapbooks or not. But it's so creepy. Rena had probably experienced the same creepiness I felt when I saw the van several times up until now. She must sense the danger more than I do. However, the fact that they weren't attacking, that they were merely observing us, was disturbing. If they attacked her, she could have done something, like going to the police. But all they're doing is just watching her from a distance. She can't do anything about it. She can't talk to anybody about it. She probably just wants to stay in her house all day. Yeah, they did. They went way too fast. She probably just wants to stay in her house all day, but if she acted different, they might take it as proof that she has the scrapbooks. We have to think about how to fight against them without making it obvious. I told myself that there was no going back, and I put the phone down. Damn. End of chapter. Boop. Probably. No, it's not. And it just keeps going. And they don't stop coming, and they don't stop coming. The next day, Rena came to school, acting normal like she said she would. She talked with Mion as cheerfully as she always did, and it made me wonder if the story she told me last night was a complete fabrication. It's because the story really was too ridiculously crazy to believe. This village has a very weird and rare endemic disease, and there are religious fanatics who want to use the disease to revive their weird cult. They've been researching the pathogen of the endemic disease so they can spread it throughout the village. I was deeply influenced by Rena last night, and I believed everything she said. But thinking about it with a cool mind under the bright sunlight, it sounds too crazy to be true. The story Rena told me is based on Takano-san's crazy hand-me-down ideas. It's based entirely on her theories, which, though very feasible, have no evidence whatsoever. The fact that Takano-san was murdered lends credit to the story, I'll give you that, but... I looked at Mion. She was fooling around with Rena. It's hard to believe that she's involved with some crazy conspiracy.
ていうか聞いてないでしょケイちゃん。
悪い。ごめん、聞いてなかった。
まだ寝ぼけたまんまなのかな。寝不足だとおつむもちゃんと働かないよ。
Mion made fun of me for reacting too slowly. It's almost impossible not to trust this bubbly, cheerful girl. I trust Mion. I trust my friends. Well, Mion was trustable. Shion was not trustable, actually, so... at least in the last arc. I trust Mion more than I do Shion most of the time. I trust Mion, I trust my friends. I know she'd never had to have a hand in a crazy conspiracy like that. If she knew about it, she wouldn't be able to act this cheerfully. Rena told me not to tell Mion because she might be one of them. But it might be worth telling her without letting Rena know. Of course, there's at least a 1% chance. My country accent kicks in sometimes. It's always at the most random times, too. That the conspiracy is true, and that Mion is one of them. If so, I'd be doomed. But if I had to choose between believing the crazy conspiracy theory and trusting my friends, my answer would be obvious. I know that my friend Mion isn't part of any conspiracy. She'd never be involved with something like that. Even if the conspiracy exists, I'm sure Mion will be on our side. So whether or not it's true, it must be worth telling Mion about it.
なあにケイちゃん、こんなところに呼び出して、それも誰にも内緒で来いなんてさ。
He's gonna tell her.
まさかカツアゲとかそういうのじゃないよね。
Is this where it fucks up? He tells her, and then it just gets downhill from there.
お前な、体育倉庫の裏に呼ばれたら真っ先にそう思うのかよ。
じゃあラブレターとか。でもそういうのは下駄箱が定番じゃない？
都会じゃそうでもないぞ。直接渡す白兵線型も少なくない。
じゃあ
なわけねえだろ。それよりかなり真面目な話がある。茶化しは一切なしで聞いてくれ。
何よ。
お社様信仰を復活させようとしている連中がいるってのは知ってるか？
は？何ケイちゃん、何の話？
This, of course, was just my way of getting a feel for the situation. I wanted to see how she was going to react by getting straight to the point. Mion really did look puzzled. People wouldn't normally react like this if someone pointed out their secrets out of the blue. They always panic, if only just a little. Either Mion was a brilliant actress, or she really didn't have anything to do with the idea of reviving Oyashiro-sama. I decided to tell her everything.
Mion.
Oh boy. Didn't he also tell Rika in an earlier arc, and then shit happened with that too?
お前の家の園崎家ってHinamizawaを含めものすごい影響力を持ってるわけだけどさ。
Is this like the alternate arc to the first one? Where instead of not trusting any of his friends, he trusts all of his friends? Like what could have happened if he trusted all of his friends?
お社様信仰を復興するため何か暗躍してるってことは。
Maybe it's not the same timeline at all.
こう？なんで？
いや、だからさ、今のお社様信仰って大昔の時代に比べたらだいぶ信仰心が薄くなってるだろう。それをさ、大昔の鬼ヶ淵村のレベルまで引き戻したいと思っている、いわゆる原理主義者的な連中が暗躍をしてるんじゃないかって。
はい？ちょっと何よそれ。何の話なわけ？
本当に何の話かわからないのか？
わかるわけないよ。何その全米第1位みたいな面白ストーリーはさ。
I don't know about 5 million copies, but this game has sold, so it's not technically wrong. Mion's reaction was very natural. It seemed impossible that she was pretending she didn't know anything about it. But regardless, I continued.
いや、だからそういう連中がこの村にいるらしいんだよ。ミオは知らないか？
お社様信仰を鬼ヶ淵村の時代のレベルに？そんなことして何かいいことあるの？
It gives them power.
いや、それは信仰の厚い盲信的な連中にとってはとても重要な意味がある。
だってケイちゃん、大昔の厳しい戒律の頃に逆戻りって誰も喜ばないよ。今のこの現代、村から出るななんて言われたら生活なんかやってられないって。
例えばほら、リカちゃん。リカちゃんって何でもお社様の生まれ変わりとか言ってちやほやされてるらしいだろ。
They're gonna start by infecting her, maybe?
そういった取り巻きの老人たちの中にはきっと執着的な一派が存在して。
I guess that probably just means she's his descendant, right?
リカちゃんの取り巻きっていうと君吉のおじいちゃんとかのこと？まあ確かに信仰心は厚い方だと思うけど、盲信的ってのはどうかと思うね。
I have a few theories about Rika, and I don't know if any of them are correct. One of them is that she might be cursed with, like, a disease where her body doesn't age, so she's, like, somewhat immortal. Because she's obviously much wiser and knows a lot about more things than she lets off. But there's other things you can think of, that maybe she is infused with a god, and that she can control these different realities and time itself, honestly. But that's kind of a bit crazy of a theory. Oh my goodness! There's so many raids today! DC incoming. Thank you for the raid! Let me give you a shout out. Oh, I can't type today. I hope you had a fun stream. Playing Lost Ark. I have never played that, but interesting. I hope you had fun. Oh my god. I can't believe you've done this. I can't believe you've done this. Oh, John, I know you. You're the one, aren't you? You're the one. I knew it was gonna be somebody I knew. Can't believe you've done this. But thank you so much for the raid. I really, really appreciate it. We are playing Higurashi. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Heather Journey. I am an immortal witchy wolf that loves to write. I am a writer as well as a VTuber streamer. And I like to play a lot of visual novels and story-driven games, mostly. But I play a lot of everything, really. So lately I've been playing a lot of visual novels and Phantasy Star and the old, like, original Phantasy Star, and Tokyo Dark, which is a story-driven game, and other things, so yeah. Yeah, so we're playing Higurashi right now, which, for those of you who don't know anything about Higurashi, it's a very dark country cult town where everyone is liable to murder anyone else around at any time. So, yeah, a lot of shit goes on, and it's like a detective kind of thing where you have to figure out, like, what's going on and who is controlling who and who is part of what and why all these deaths keep happening and what this curse is all about and whether it's actually like a supernatural thing or people just being crazy cult people. I said, hey! What's going on? Yeah. Thank you for the follow. So yeah, that's where we're at. Right now we're telling Mion about the parasite disease that apparently they are trying to revive the cult with, so catch you up to speed on 6 arcs of story. Yeah. Yeah, I have been on hiatus for a couple of weeks before this week, but I just got back to streaming. I'm doing okay. I'm going through a bit of a rough patch, but I'm slowly but surely working my way to being okay, so I'm alright. That's my answer.
いやだからいるんだよ。本来のお社様信仰を再び復活させようとしている輩が。
Mio never believes me.
はいはい。話が進まないからこの場は信じるよ。それで？
で、そいつらはお社様の正体がこの土地独特の風土病にあることを突き止め、その病原体を研究しているらしいんだ。
She needs the evidence, though.
どこで？というか、風土病って何？病原体って何よ？エンガチョ。
Well, they kind of are. To me, anatomy is pretty gross, but I was getting confused. I didn't know what I was talking about myself anymore. I was deeply influenced by Retta last night and believed everything she said. But having said it all out loud, I started realizing how impossible the story sounded.
どうしたの？ミオさんに妙なことでも吹き込まれたわけ？
It's hard to explain, too, like, if you're not sure of all the details. Like, somebody can tell you a whole story, but then, like, you try to replicate it, and it's like, No, you're my little pack, yes. The Heather synopsis. Yeah, I'm basically just a purple witchy wolf that streams and writes.
知ってるのか？
有名だよ。あの人オカルトマニアだからいつもとんでもない空想話をでっち上げてる。たまに真に受ける人がいると私も昔話を聞かせてもらったことがあったけど結構面白かったな。
Okay, goodbye. Thank you for the raid. And I hope you have a good sleep.
それって本当か？
ケイちゃんもどこかで耳にしてるだろうけど、この村は大昔はちょっと特殊な文化があった。それは少し刺激の強い要素のある文化でね。厳しい戒律と厳しい刑罰、残酷な風習は割とオカルトマニアの間では知られてるらしい。ミオさんもそんなマニアの中の一人。
じゃあこの村が怪しげな寄生虫に支配されているという話は？
はあ？寄生虫？それミオさんの新作？
新作ってどういうことだよ？
言ったでしょ、ミオさんはオカルトマニアなの。鬼ヶ淵村の奇怪な伝説などを研究してあれやこれやの仮説や推理、妄想を楽しんでるわけよ。だからその寄生虫に村が支配されてるって説以外にもいろいろ創作してる。
So how do you know which theory is true?
私がずいぶん前に聞いたのは UFO 説だったよ。
I don't know about UFOs, but...
これが結構辻褄があってて面白いの。太古の昔に鬼ヶ淵村に UFO が墜落して、そこから出てきた異星人と村人で戦いが起こってという感じから始まる B 級 SF ホラーだった。聡子が聞かされたってのは地底人説だったかな。地殻変動によって地底王国と鬼ヶ淵村の間に接点ができてしまって、それでなんだっけかな。そうそう、地底王国のお姫様と村の若者が恋をして互いに仲直りをしたっていう
These are
SF
not the
ロミ
same
オとジュリエッ
stories
トだっ
as
た。
what's in her journal, though.
んで最新作がどうやらケイちゃんの聞かされた寄生虫説ってわけみたいだね。いやいや、いつかそれらを全部まとめて本にしてほしいよ。
Mion began laughing so hard she had to hold her stomach. As I looked at her laughing like that, I realized I fell for something that ridiculous. At that point, it was obvious. I had been completely taken in.
すまんミオ、俺がこれから聞くことに答えてくれ。まずお社様信仰を復活させようとする連中は実在する？
しないよ。というかむしろ逆。Hinamizawaは外部に対してどんどん開いていって栄えさせていこうということで、御三家はすでに意見を統一してる。これはまだ内緒なんだけど、21世紀までをめどにね、新しい高速道路がここいらを通るという計画があるんだよ。園崎家は現在水面下でその誘致をしててね。
So why... But why would they do that all of a sudden? When they've been all about keeping everything secret.
うまくいけばここいらは一気に栄えることになる。バッチャはそれによって山林の地価が一気に高騰して大儲けできると踏んでるみたいだよ。
Unless the three families actually have nothing to do with it. But I highly doubt that's the case. I know Rika knows some shit. And I don't know about the other two. I know the old lady knows some shit, but I don't know if she knows everything. I think she knows less than what people believe she knows.
まあ21世紀の仕事だからそれは私が引き継ぐ大仕事になりそう
Yeah,
だ、ね。
I don't believe this either.
じゃあ外部の人間を意味嫌う連中なんての
She's
存
playing.
在しない。
Funny joke!
She's playing the role of keeping this a secret. Like,
だからそんなの存在しないって。
and now she knows that he knows about the theory.
ただでさえ不便な村をさらに不便にしてどうするんだか。現に村は今別荘地として売り出しを開始してる。ケイちゃんの家はまさにその第1号じゃないの。
Excuse me?
村人はみんな歓迎してくれたでしょ。若者の流出を食い止めるため御三家もいろいろと考えてるんだから。
There was nothing vague about what Mion had said. Her story makes a lot more sense than Takano-san's delusional theories. It's not that they make more sense, it's just that they seem more reasonable, and, they're not so, like, stemmed in the, you know, unknown, like, parasite talk, which is automatically what you would think of as irrational and crazy. Like, that's okay. You can always go back and watch the VODs and stuff. I have all of the parts of this game uploaded to my YouTube channel. So, all 37 of them so far. Woohoo! So if you want to get caught up, you can watch all of those videos if you would like. The first part of them actually was me with a webcam before I even started streaming, so that might be a little cringe, but like the rest of them, you know, are all from me either being a PNG tuber or actually streaming like this. And so Mion's words woke me up from that delusion. Yeah, we are very far in the story.
じゃああれはどうだよ。寄生虫の感染の証拠を示す血液中のなんとかとかいう数値が南沢の住民だけ異常に高いみたいな話が。
そうなの？というかミオさんはそんなのどうやって調べたわけ？
だって高野さんは看護師だろ。調べる気になればいくらだって。
そんな怪しげな調査のために誰が血液採取なんかに協力するの？誰もしないって。それに仮に採血をしたってどこでどう調べたわけ？ミオさんがたった一人で一体何人の血を調べられたっていうわけ？
Mion was right. I couldn't believe I thought Takano-san could do all that just because she was a nurse. Shook me hard to believe that she got that many blood samples and did a high-level examination like that without any help. But apparently, like, the one dude was in on it, so he could have helped her get that information, you know, and they could have been in it together. But then as soon as they realized Mio wasn't gonna cooperate with them, they just, you know, dead. So when I thought about it rationally, I shouldn't have believed such a ridiculous story so easily.
寄生虫の規制の証拠として花粉症にかからないって聞いたぞ。
花粉症って都会の病気じゃないの。あれは確か排気ガスと関係があるんでしょ？
Really?
ここはひなみ沢だよ、ケイちゃん。というか多分沖宮の人にだって花粉症なんてそうそういないと思うけど。
じゃああれは園崎本家当主直属の暗殺部隊ってのがいて、昔大臣の孫の誘拐とかをやったんだろう。
Yeah, I don't believe that either. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. I'm like, ah.
いたらかっこいいね。
Yeah, she's just making up shit to make it sound like... Even I was sounding ridiculous. But I believed all of it last night. I believed it because Rena looked very serious.
大臣の孫が高津戸のあたりで突然発見されたのは事実。
Or sounded very serious. They were on the phone, so...
だけれど、あれは私たちじゃない。私たちじゃないけど、それを私たちはさも自分たちが犯したように振る舞ってた。
わかりにくいぞ。説明してく
Just
れ。
acted like you did. So it wasn't you?
うん。ダム戦争の当時、鬼ヶ淵死守同盟は相当に物騒な抵抗運動をしていたのは事実。脅迫めいたこともやってのけた。でもね、あの当時それを利用するやらしい連中もいたらしいの。鬼ヶ淵死守同盟の名を語って金品を要求したりするエセ同盟って連中。
Hinamizawa Guardians were a very aggressive force at the time. It's a high possibility that some people thought they could use the name to extort money.
その中に大臣の孫の誘拐もあったの。おそらく誘拐犯たちは警察の捜査の撹乱を狙って死守同盟のふりをして身代金を要求したんだと思う。正直あの事件は同盟にとっても驚きだったよ。
That's bullshit.
よく大臣の孫を誘拐できたもんだって話題になったね。
That's bullshit. No one else has the kind of power to be able to fucking do that. Besides them. No way. Absolutely no way. It'd have to be the Sonozakis or one of the three families. But the Sonozakis are the ones that actually are in control of the Yakuza in the area. So they're in league with the Mafia. There's no way no one else but them could have pulled that off. Actually kidnapping the grandson? No. Oh, no, 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 no. No, 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 no. That's a lie. I don't believe it for a second. Where's the objection? Where's the objection? Oh, did I miss a redeem? Did I miss the redeem? I'm sorry. Let me find them. Alright. The movie pads. It's okay. The movie pads. Let me find my hat, actually. I'm gonna probably have to take off my hat, my witchy hat, to don my detective hat, which actually works really well for this story. So, you picked the good one, I guess. Hang on, let me take off my hat. And then don the detective hat. Pacha! Detective Heather reporting for duty. Don't crush my eyes, though, hat. I may have to make it smaller. A bit. There you go. Detective Heather reporting for duty. Alright. We're gonna find the answer to all the mysteries. If I do say so myself. That's bullshit. Objection. You're lying. Fuck you. I know the answers. You don't. That's actually a lie. I don't know all the answers. But that's a lie. I know that's a lie.
犯人たちに会えたら表彰してやろうなんて盛り上がったっけ？
ちょっと待て。じゃあ大臣の孫の誘拐は鬼ヶ淵死守同盟は何も関係ないのかよ。
This is far better. Yeah, I don't have the money to pay for a full, like, model detective hat, but, you can get this one. You get this one. Yeah, that's actually the first time anyone's redeemed that, so, kudos to you. You get to see the first detective hat stream.
全くない。
Myeon said it firmly. It was a simple and clear answer, which left no room for suspicion. And thinking about it, it's nothing surprising. Kidnapping the grandson of a minister and negotiating with him in person is a huge deal. The Onigafuchi Guardians were a very aggressive group, but this operation wasn't so easy that it could be carried out by any of the normal residents of Hinamizawa. You can if you're part of the Yakuza. Obviously. Fucking, Keiichi, you're so stupid. You're so stupid. You're just gonna let her talk down to you about all your theories? Like, just because Mion says it's true, like, it has to be true. It was obviously the work of professional criminals, without a doubt. Yeah, the Yakuza, which the Sonozaki own. The fuck? What are you not getting about this? Oh, she's very sus right now. She's covering up, is what she's doing.
その崎本家はね、この誘拐事件を自分たちが黒幕であるかのように
I don't think she's the mastermind, but she's definitely covering shit up.
振る舞ったってのはどういうことだ?
Also, for all I know, this could be Shion right here, because she's disguised herself as Mion before. So how am I supposed to know anymore? She can play her role very well.
これはその崎本家の秘密の家訓なの。
Okay, I'm trying not to sound angry. But I know this bitch is lying to me.
話したことは内緒だよ。その崎本家ではね、自分たちに都合がいい何かの事件が起こったとき、あたかもそれが自分たちの差し金であるように振る舞うブラフの伝統があるの。
We traditionally act as if we're responsible for it. What? No! No, you don't! That's fucking stupid! What are you even talking about? I'm so fucking... Oh my god, I want to punch this bitch! Ugh! She's making no fucking sense! She's trying to cover up everything, and she's doing a terrible job at it. Fuck her. Fuck you. No. I call no. That's bullshit. Objection! No! That's not true.
ブラフって、はったり?
This is so stupid. No.
自分たちに利することがあったなら、それは事件でなくてもいい。お天気でもいいし、宝くじの当選番号でもいい。あたかもその崎本家が望んだから、そのような結果になったかのように振る舞うの。そうするとどう？なんだかものすごい黒幕ってイメージになるでしょ？
There's no way. That's no.
つまりはそういうこと。
That's no.
これはその崎本家の当主だけに代々公伝で伝承される秘密のイメージ戦略なの。
Now, I could see you doing that a few times, but every single incident? I don't believe that. No.
自分たちを本来よりもより強大に見せようとするイメージ戦
略。じゃあほら、ダム戦争時に建設省を占拠するって作戦があったんだろう。あれは。しかもそのために武器やら訓練やら。
それも全く同じだよ、ケイちゃん。そんなバカな作戦本当にやるわけないじゃん。最大の目的はあいつらならやりかねない、なんて恐ろしいやつらだっていうプレッシャーと幻想を与えるのが最大の目的だったんだよ。
Now, actually, I don't know if I believe that they went overseas and trained with the, ex-military. Now, I could see them being trained by ex-military, like, in Japan. That I could see. But going overseas is a bit of a stretch to me. Like, that... I don't know if I believe that, but... I do believe there is a death squad, though. They obtained weapons and went through training just so they could exact pressure. They had no intention of actually carrying out the plan. the Sonozaki family was just bluffing. That's bullshit! No! No! They were fully prepared to use that. No, that's not just a bluff, no. That made sense. Of course it did. It's impossible to attack the Ministry of Construction. Even if they did, it wouldn't solve the problem. All I had to do was use common sense. Oh my god, this bitch. This dude. Even if they did, they would have been crushed within seconds by a huge number of policemen. Why didn't I think of that?
じゃあ武器とか訓練とかってのは
武器に関してはノーコメントでいいよね。訓練もやったよ。ハッタリになるようちゃんとしっかりね。葛西さんをリーダーにお父さんとこの若い衆たちを引き連れて、テキサスの砂漠でトレーナーさんと戦争ごっこをやった後はサンフランシスコでのんびり観光してた。
Did you? Did you?
じゃあ
I couldn't think of anything else. It was obvious now. I know Reina and I both were completely fooled by the scrapbooks of Takano-san's delusion. Reina was so serious about it, so I believed her, but if you examined it closely, there were so many inconsistencies. I couldn't believe Reina took a delusion like that so seriously. I knew the reason why, though. She was still in a state of shock after being caught with the corpses that day. She was mentally unstable. She came across this tall tale, and she believed it. Rena's a smart girl. She wouldn't have taken it seriously if she was stable. Plus another thing happened to wake me up from the delusion. The white van I saw yesterday came to the school during the lunch break. I don't like those chimes in my ear. The 4 men in work uniforms I saw were there too. I said thank you to Mion and followed them. The man who talked to me yesterday knocked on the door of the teacher's office. It's a fucking cover-up, man.
どうもご苦労様です。今日も暑いですね。
いえいえ、先生は今日もますますべっぴんで。
It's a cover-up.
ではすみません。今日もよろしくお願いいたします。
はい、よろしくお願いします。これ、うちの事務屋から渡すように言われましたんで。
見積書と請求書ですね。ありがとうございます。日付は空欄ですね。はい、お預かりします。
はい、それでは取り掛かりますんで。
Man was talking to Chie Sensei with a big smile. Oh my god, sorry. I'm very stiff today, apparently.
どうしたのかね、前原君。
あ、校長先生。今の男の人は誰ですか？
Principal pointed his finger at the window. When I looked out, I heard the noise of an engine starting. The noise was coming from the engine of a motorized lawnmower. I saw young men in work uniforms taking another lawnmower, some brooms, and a ladder out of the van.
園芸業者さんである。だいぶ垣根や樹木が手入れされてなかったからの。
It's a cover-up. That's what it is. That's all it is.
夏前に一度剪定を頼もうと思ったのだよ。
ああ、校長先生。この度はお世話になりまして。
That's too convenient to not be a cover-up. The man noticed the principal, took off his hat, and bowed.
よろしく頼み申しますぞ。
なんとか今日中で終わらせますんで。しばらくうるさくしますんが、ご容赦を。
With the way the brim of the hat is like almost covering my eyes, it reminds me so much of Shuichi's hat from Danganronpa 3 or V3, I guess. Each worker took one of the tools and walked towards the fence where the grass was growing. The engine of the lawnmower was very loud, and the kids who were playing in the schoolyard looked at it curiously.
ほら、危ないですから皆さん教室へ戻りなさい。
It was Chie-sensei. She handed an envelope with the documents in it to the principal. It said Okonogi Gardeners in green on the envelope.
では校長先生、申し訳ありませんが、
この請求書を後日市役所に行かれる時に持って行ってください。
うん、心得た。
千恵先生、あの造園屋さんは昨日も来てました？
ええ、昨日の夕方に一度下見に来てもらいました。帰りに近道をしようとして迷ってしまったと言ってましたっけ。
Oh, that, as I said, that's too convenient. I don't believe it.
この村は細い道はだいぶ入り組んでおるからの。無理もないわい。
I remember when I first came here, Chie-sensei started talking about when she got lost, and they laughed together. There was never anything suspicious to begin with. I thought they were suspicious yesterday because of what Rena had told me. First, I thought it wasn't unusual to see a white van, but then right after I heard her creepy story, I saw a white van parked on the road and I got scared. The gardeners weren't familiar with the roads on Hinamizawa, and they got lost trying to take a shortcut on their way back. That's all. I had it totally twisted around? That's what they want you to think. I believed that fake-sounding story. I believed that the Sonozaki family was working behind the scenes, and I fabricated the existence of a group of fanatical believers in my mind. Worse, I doubted Mion. But you're doubting Rena now! Damn it. I'm such a fool. She's my friend. We took each other's hands that day, saying that we were a family made of friends, and that friends were friends no matter what. I said that, but then I doubted my friend. I'm so stupid. Anyway, Rena was the problem. She also needed to wake up from this crazy delusion. But now you're saying that about Rena, who is also your friend! Like, I had to hurry and wake her up. Rena seemed like she had no mind to listen to anyone else. She truly believes that the Sonozaki family are the masterminds of a large-scale conspiracy. Wow. He believes anything anyone tells him. The dude is so fucking stupid. Like, he's so naive. Like, he just believes everything. He's like, yeah, sure, I believe that. And then somebody else will tell him a completely different story. Sure, I believe that. Like, he just goes on like a freaking moron. I remembered the plate number of the white van, and I also remembered their faces. By the way, when the text goes from white to pinkish, reddish pinkish, whatever you want to call this color, that means it's Rena talking, or it's from Rena's point of view. Just for clarification, if any of you all didn't know that. Without a doubt, this was one of the vans that had been following me. So far, I've confirmed that 3 or 4 cars have been following me. I could especially recall this white van because it followed me around the longest of all. The people who were in the other cars must be the lookouts, and the ones in this van must be tasked with direct contact, like kidnapping or assassination. The lookouts take care of the surroundings, and the ones in the van attack the target. That's a common maneuver in both kidnapping and assassination. Scrapbook said that too. If so, I'd better watch out because it was them, not the lookouts, who came to the school premises. I don't think they'll attack me while I'm in school. They're in the early stage of their covert operation now, hiding their fangs and claws until the last stage of their horrifying scheme. That's why they won't take action in the school where people are watching. But it looked like they were talking with Chie-sensei in a very friendly way. I could only hear bits and pieces of their conversation, but it sounded very suspicious. I tried to remember the chatter and the movements of their mouths, and I played my memory of it like a videotape in my mind.
毎度。
どうもご苦労様です。今日も暑いですね。
いいえいいえ。今日。
ではすみません。今日もよろしくお願いいたします。
はい、よろしくお願いします。これうちの事務屋から渡すように言われましたんで。
とですね。ありがとうございます。空欄ですね。問題ありません。はい、お預かりします。
はい、それでは。りますんで。
So she did hear like half of what they said. I used the information I had to guess what was going on. I played the video again and again into my mind, and also paused it and played it in slow motion again to check many times. Something unbelievably horrifying started to emerge. There's no doubt that they're acquainted with Chie-sensei. I've never seen them visit the school before, so it's hard to believe that Chie-sensei is their contact. There's no doubt that they're the death squad under the direct control of the Sonozaki family. They have the local accent, which proves they were chosen from the Sonozaki Corps. The death squad was talking with Chie-sensei. They know each other. What's their relationship? Who's Chie-sensei anyway? During the dam conflict, Hinamizawa school was closed and it was merged with the one in Okinomiya. The Onikafuji Guardians didn't accept that, and they made part of the forestry service building into a school. But needless to say, the school they made didn't have a teacher. So it was only going to be a token form of resistance. But a teacher who had a strong passion for education felt sorry for the children and she came to work there. That was Rumiko Chie-sensei. It's obviously strange. Teachers are government employees, and they normally belong to their prefectures. As long as they lie low and don't cause trouble, they don't get fired, and they don't get demoted. They can work up until the official retirement age, and they're guaranteed to get a fixed retirement fund. She was one of those government employees, but she defied the Board of Education and came to work for Hinamizawa. The villagers admire her as a teacher of passion. I heard that Oryo Sonozaki herself successfully negotiated with the Board of Education that suspended Chie-sensei for defying their orders. It was easy to get an answer from this by connecting the dots. Chie-sensei was recruited by Oryo Sonozaki as a teacher to work at the school the Onikafuji Guardians had created. In other words, she was already working for Oryo before she came here. I don't know if I believe that she's involved. But she could be. Like, I don't know. As for the principal, he was the principal of the school in Hinamizawa from the beginning. He's a respected person of this region, and he's been closely associated with the three families for a long time. So that means this school has been under the control of the Sonozaki family all along. That's why Chie-sensei is acquainted with the death squad. It makes sense now. Chie-sensei confirmed that I came to school today, made a phone call, and called them here? I don't want to know why she called them here. If she called them just to monitor me, they'd wait near the gate until class was over. But they came onto the school premises. Why? Stop pretending to be a fool, Ren and Ryugu. Do you think nothing will happen if you pretend not to notice it? Think hard, and calm down, Ren and Ryugu. What will they try to do to me today at school? In school? How are they going to do anything with my classmates and friends around me? It's easy. Chie-sensei will tell me to come to the teacher's office during the last class of the day. What about my clubmates? That's easy too. Chie-sensei can easily make them go home early using her authority as a teacher. She can make up any reason she wants. Maybe the classroom is going to have carpentry work done today, so they can't stay in school.
は今日
ではすみません。今日もよろしくお願いいたします。
See, there's no doubt. They clearly said they're ready to do it today. What else?
はいよろしくお願いします。これうちの事務屋から渡すように言われましたんで。
とですね。ありがとうございます。わ、空欄ですね。問題ありません。はい、お預かりします。
I see. They gave Chie-sensei an envelope with some documents in it. That blank is an eerie phrase. Was my name supposed to be in the blank? Why is it left blank? What does that mean? I told you, Ren Ryugu. Do you still think that nothing will happen if you pretend not to notice it? Stop that. So what it must mean? So it's an order from higher up. It says to make Ren Ryugu become blank. That's not what they said, but what they could have said out loud could have been code for that. So she's not completely off, but there's a few things I think she's stretching. But I also don't believe any of this, anything that, like, Mion says, anything about these guys coming in here, like, I don't trust any of that at all. So, I do think they're up to no good. To the extent of that, I don't know. I took a peek from the shadows, and I saw the principal taking documents out from the envelope. He started reading them. He looked stern. He looked very serious. I wished I could take a peek in the documents, but I was too far away. I kept looking at him just to see if he'd react at all. Oh my god, I'm tired. And then the envelope caught my eye. The envelope said Okonogi Gardeners, and it has some numbers that looked like a phone number. Fortunately, I have good eyesight. I memorized the number. If they're a death squad, the gardening company must be a camouflage occupation. It probably doesn't even exist. I wanted to find out. I looked for a phone. There's only one phone, and it's in the teacher's office. Fortunately, the teachers were chatting in the hallway, looking at the gardeners. It was now or never. I made sure nobody was watching me go into the teacher's office. I rushed in and grabbed the phone on the principal's desk. I went over the phone number in my head and dialed it up. I'm glad they have a touch-tone phone. It would have been difficult if it was rotary dial. Oh, it's a plate of curry, it looks like, on the table. Must be Chie-sensei's. If somebody answered, I'd only have to ask, is this the Okunogi Gardeners? I wait for the answer before hanging up. It should be easy. It connected. I felt a cold chill run through my body from the bottom of my feet. Wait, don't make a quick judgment. I might have remembered the number wrong. No, I think I remembered it right. I know I remembered it right. It was an easy number to remember. It's impossible to remember it wrong. Then did I dial it wrong? I put the phone down and started over. This time I dialed the number more slowly. Teachers might be coming back at any time. In that situation, it was risky to do anything slowly. But I needed to make absolutely sure. It's the same. There's no doubt. Company Okonogi Gardeners doesn't exist. It's just a camouflage occupation for the Sonozaki family's death squad. I was too stunned to put down the receiver. The announcement kept running over and over again. The voice was cold and creepy. I hung up the phone and rushed out of the teacher's office. I ran to the bathroom and held my head in an attempt to cool down. Calm down, Rena. Calm down, Rena Ryugu. Stay cool, Rena Ryugu. I wasn't safe here anymore. If I stayed here, I might be erased, even in the open. They'd erase me? Why? They aren't certain that I have the scrapbooks. I told Keiichi-kun where I hid the scrapbooks. Yesterday, I told him I hid them in my hideout in the garbage dump. Is Keiichi-kun in cahoots with the Sonozaki family? I felt as if my head was a pot that was cooking some dubious stew. There was only soup in my brain. Only soup! Nothing else! Just soup! I cut up clues, information, and facts just like I cut up vegetables and threw them into the pot. And you know just how you cut up those bodies, but you know, that's another story. Some of them were floating onto the surface, and others were on the bottom of the pot. They were being cooked in a boiling soup. No, it can't be. Keiichi-kun is on my side. He's the only one who's on my side. He held out his hand to me at the trash piles. There was no lie in that hand. When he grabbed my wrist, I felt nothing but his strong and pure heart. He promised me he'd be by my side. I shouldn't doubt Keiichi-kun. He's the only one I trust. He's the only one who is on my side right now.
ごめんごめん、ケイチ君。危うく君を疑いそうになった。本当にごめんね。本当にごめんね。
And then he's gonna come talk to her because Mion lied to him and made him believe, you know, all her lies. And then she's gonna feel betrayed, and then she's gonna do a bunch of shit that is not good because she doesn't have anyone else on her side. I said it out loud on purpose, full of regret that I doubted Keiichi-kun, the only one who was on my side. Now that I think about it, whether I have the scrapbooks or not might not matter to them. Erase anyone who is suspicious. That's the safest way. Does that mean they're in a hurry? The day of Oyashiro-sama's revival might just be around the corner, and that's why they're trying to get rid of any small fish bones that are stuck in the throat by any means before it's too late. We don't need her anymore. Just erase her if you're worried so much. I could easily picture Oryu Sonozaki saying that. Picture? No, she did say that. That's why they're here today. What should I do? What should I do? Should I wait until school was over? I was like a fish in a pond. No matter how many times I escaped from the net, I was in the pond, and they owned the pond. I didn't stand a chance. And what should I do now? I couldn't keep escaping from the net. I should get out of the pond. I didn't know how to fight them. I didn't know who's on my side. I was about to give in to despair. For now, I'd have to think about how to survive this, so I'd at least have time to think about how to fight against them. I have to get out of this pond. When I was about to leave the bathroom, one of my classmates came in. I pretended to be sick and talked to the girl while leaning on the wall.
ごめんね。私ちょっとどうしても具合が悪くて、早退するからって先生に伝えておいてくれないかな。
I shouldn't let Chie-sensei know that I'm leaving school early if I'm trying to run away from them. But if I didn't, they might think I ran away without cause. Might lead them to chase after me without mercy. If that happens, I don't stand a chance. They were planning to capture me after school was over, but I happened to feel sick and left school early. If they took it that way, they wouldn't think that I noticed the noose tightening around me. I was about to go back to the classroom to get my bag, but I changed my mind and turned around. I didn't need my bag anymore. I realized nobody was watching me, so I stopped pretending to be sick and started running. Damn. Fuck that bag, she says. I don't need that.
ん？千恵先生、ここがおかしいですぞ。
おかしい？どうかなさいましたか？
見積書と請求書の日付が空欄になっておりますぞ。ここは今日の日付ではないのですかな？
I mean, I do have cat mom vibes, I guess, so I guess that works. Just pretend you're a cat? Question mark? I don't know. I'll take that as a compliment, I guess.
見積書の日付と請求書の日付が同じだと、なんだか都合が悪いそうで。
Meow? Meow-woo? That's like my favorite.
庶務係さんから空欄にするようよく念を押されています。
あとそれから請求書に書いてある電話番号と封筒に書いてある電話番号が違っていますぞ。
Oh, she got the wrong phone number.
どちらが正しいのですかな？
あらやだ、本当ですね。社長さん。
はい、どうしましたね。
請求書に書いてある電話番号と封筒の電話番号が違ってますけど、どちらが正しいのですか？
請求書の方の電話番号が正しいんで大丈夫ですね。
She got the wrong phone number.
先代の事務所の時の封筒がまだだいぶ余ってたもんなんで、それに入れてきてまったんですわ。すんませんね。バイトの子に全部新しい番号のハンコを押しとくように言ったんだけどな。すんまへんすんまへん。消しておいてもらえますかね。
God damn. I don't believe Rena's theory is completely wrong, but I think she's overreacting to a few different things. But I don't know. Like, I don't know the full story, so I don't know. Why don't you take out list number 3? The danger of a culture-bound syndrome lies in the fact that it can easily trigger delusional misidentification syndrome. That is to say, in the current case, every time the patient sees something trivial, she tries to interpret it as a curse. It's believed that as a result of the accumulation of these events in an understandable form, a delusional system is created, ultimately leading to paranoia. Furthermore, the patient is also exhibiting slight signs of a personality disorder. Of course, it's a very mild level, and it's not causing any hindrance whatsoever to the patient's daily life. It's common for any, even healthy individuals to have primary delusions in their daily lives, but that usually just ignore it automatically without recognition, since those delusions are nonsensical. However, there are cases where these delusions accumulate despite being incomprehensible. It largely depends on the particular characteristics of the individual. It's believed that the patient shows relatively strong characteristics in this area. I believe you're very much aware that primary delusions are categorized into 3 different kinds. Delusional mood is the feeling of impending crisis without basis. Delusional intuition is the feeling of a sense of duty or goal without basis. Delusional perception is the feeling of a baseless cause against a baseless target. In the patient's case, it's believed that these incomprehensible delusions accumulated, acting out simultaneously with the culture-bound syndrome, which triggered a delusional misidentification syndrome. And it ultimately caused the incomprehensible delusions to become understandable by interpreting them as a curse. The comprehensible delusional system induces understandable secondary delusions, further strengthening the patient's delusional system with the passage of time. The delusional parasitosis mentioned earlier can be considered a secondary delusion. Interesting. Trying to... What's the name of this chapter again? Sumi Horoboshi. Oh, okay. A common factor of all cases of paranoia is that even after an outbreak, they still appear perfectly normal with no change in their personalities. The patients are unaware of their own ailments, and due to their personal interpretations of their delusional system, there are many cases I was trying to look at, okay, whatever. I was trying to look up, like, how many chapters in total for this arc, but I can't seem to find that. And I don't want to look too hard without, you know, spoiling something, because this game is super, super, super spoil heavy. Okay, making it extremely difficult for third party to point out that they're having a delusion. Furthermore, although it may depend on the tendency of the delusions, there are also cases where a persecutory delusion turns into a pursuit delusion or a conspiracy delusion, resulting in the patients creating an imaginary enemy and taking up antisocial behavior. For example, there are cases where believers of a religious cult were deeply influenced by the cult founder's paranoid visions, which shifted the group into a conspiracy delusions, and that made them conduct antisocial behavior in the name of self-defense. Although no such cases have been reported in Japan yet, it could very well happen in the near future. Fortunately, the patient hasn't received that serious condition as of now. With proper treatment, she should be able to make a full recovery. Please make sure that her father also understands this is not an unusual case, but something caused by the accumulation of a number of innocent factors that anyone could have. Patient can be treated only by deepening her bond with her father. As long as she has that bond, she can certainly be treated. For the reasons above, if the patient is to return to her home village, I strongly recommend that the patient continue to receive guidance from specialized medical institutions. Please excuse me for writing such a long letter. Thank you for reading this till the very end. Interesting. Damn. Now I'm like sitting here thinking, what if that was all in Rena's head? But I obviously feel like Mion was covering up some shit. But how much was she covering up, and how much is Rena's delusion, so to speak? If I feel like it's a mixture of both. But I don't know. I need more information. Okay, have a good sleep, Spec. That was a long chapter. That's 2.5 hours. What? Depending on the next chapter, like, I'm not sure if I would be able to do another one, because I actually am kind of tired. My energy levels have not been great today, and I've also, like, had some stomach pain and stuff, so don't want to push it too much. If it was, like, maybe an hour or less, I might go for it, but I have a feeling it's gonna be just as long as this one. Because it seems to be, you know, once you get through a chapter in Higurashi, they just keep getting longer. You know? It's probably a long boy. Wait, what chapter am I on now? 11? Oh, end of chapter 9. Okay, so I'm about to start chapter 10. So yeah, I'll probably call it a night here, but we learned a lot of interesting information, and we got a lot of nice raids, and we got progress. So I guess that's, you know, can't really do much better than that, huh? Alright, Cordy! Cordy's playing Mustache. I love Mustache. I'm gonna raid Cordy. My saves go end of chapter 9 and then like 5 or 4 more saves, but they're mid-chapter, so I can't tell. Rip. Well, that's okay. We're gonna raid Cordy, who is playing Mustache, which is very sweet and wholesome music rhythm game. So it's going to be completely different from this experience of hell and death and curses and parasites, but you know, it's fine. I will be playing this game again hopefully next week, so that way we can make more progress on it, because I really do want to get to the end of this. I've been working on this game for too long to not get to the end of this, so oh yeah, let me take my detective hat back off so that way I don't forget. But it was nice to use that, actually. I like that hat. I want the hat back. But yeah, copy the raid message and send Cordy my love. Cordy's a good friend of mine, and usually says hi and gives me huggies in chat, so I appreciate Cordy very much, and Cordy's very special. So they're yeah, they, as I said, they are playing Mustache, and they are, which is a really nice cutesy little anime rhythm game, so go hang out and chill with them for the rest of the night. I will be streaming again tomorrow with Melisma for Five Nights at Freddy's Fridays at same usual time, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So go check me out then. And yeah, I will see you later then. Bye!